Welcome back to the episode 2 of the Ultra Clique Podcast. We're your hosts, Ryan Ness.
And Mike Ness.
And we're a car group based in Lafayette, Indiana, focused on styles you don't usually see in the Midwest. Today we're joined by Reef, a local car enthusiast, who has joined Ultra Clique to be another one of the co-hosts of the podcast. So today we were going to talk with Hunter, who is also a car enthusiast, about his experience of driving his daily driver. And so, what's your daily driver, Hunter?
First off, I'm Reef. These are my buddies that are also in the Ultra Clique. But my daily driver, I drive an Acura TSX, which is a 6-speed with a K24A2 engine, also with VTEC, dual overhead cams, and but from my experience, the day that I got it, I instantly fell in love with this car. I don't know what's about it. I just fell in love with it. It's just the shifting feels super smooth. Just the driving in general, and even like the speed. Like from all my other cars that I've driven, it just feels like the acceleration feels quick on it. Even for a sedan, like it just feels super quick. Even for a front end engine, it just feels super quick. But I kind of drive this thing like nothing. Like I drive this thing like I stole the car, basically. When I get on the freeway, I just kind of go 80 to like 100 everywhere I go, and it just
In Mexico.
Yes, it just never fails me. Like it just performs super well, and I just love it. And I love how it's a manual too. I just love shifting through gears. Like I feel like I'm building a bond with my car, and every day that I drive it, even to work or even to like the store that I live 5 minutes away from, I feel like I'm still building a bond with the car. And it's just, I absolutely love this car. It's just outstanding.
That's awesome. And just talking about the Acura line, we actually have another person who's a co-host of the podcast who actually owned Acura before as well.
Yeah.
Just as a,
I had some interesting experiences with mine. The previous owners didn't really take too kindly on the third gear. So after I bought it,
Most Hondas.
about 2 months in,
Jeez.
the second and third gear sort of blew up on the transmission. Had to swap the transmission in.
And what was that? What car was that?
It was a 2003 Acura RSX Type S.
Type S, though.
Yes.
Ooh,
So it
sport.
has the same exact horsepower as the TSX, but
that was a coupe.
Yeah,
It was.
Yeah, it was a coupe. It was a little lighter weight,
Yeah.
and it had a little bit different of I guess, a drivetrain setup. It had the K20A2, and so most of the power came up at the top, and so it just made you want to keep shifting and keep shifting and keep shifting. Although the only tricky part was about third gear VTEC. After that, you're sort of breaking some laws. So
Who cares about that,
it's a
man?
little tricky to drive.
You just gotta know the routes of the
That's
police.
why you have to just sort of.
I mean, that's how I live. I'm just driving on the freeway. I know what time they're
But
parked, where they're at.
If you want to drive like a normal person, you just have to sort of short shift it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have the speedometer. I'm gonna use the whole thing,
use the whole thing.
But back to my TSX.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
like, I've watched Initial D just recently, and I kind of drive like Takumi for some weird reason. I'll downshift and I'll heel toe, or I'll heel toe into shifting, and it just corners so good.
Oh, make sure when you're cornering though, make sure it tests the gear so that it doesn't just drop into the gear.
Oh yeah. I mean, it perfectly. I even rev match it even before, just so like it gets a little boost up in the revs.
Right.
I'll rev match it, and then I'll brake, and then I'll heel toe. But like even for cornering, I'll go around like a sharp turn, and it'll just corner perfectly. I'll stay on the yellow line on the inside of the corner, and it'll just corner perfectly. It's just an amazing car.
That's a huge advantage to the front wheel drive
Oh,
cars.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Just corner terrific.
Cornering
Even
for
in the
front wheel
rain.
drives. Oh my god.
Yeah. What year at the TSX are you driving?
I'm driving a 2009 TSX 6-speed.
And that car, just based off the specs of it and the market that it was targeted after, is more of a luxury sports sedan.
Oh, yeah.
and it's very interesting. It has the leather interior. It has a nice stereo, 7-speaker stereo, which is awesome. I mean, all around great stereo system. It's just very quiet, calm, great to drive with the front-wheel drive and the manual transmission, which is interesting for a luxury car at that time. But it's a great started car. So.
But honestly, even for stock, like, it sounds pretty loud.
Oh, it's pretty
like,
wild.
Recently, I was driving around and I had to go pick up my friend, and he said he heard me from like across town almost. Like, well, not across town, but like across the street.
That's pretty far.
Like behind buildings.
That's pretty crazy.
He even heard me.
Still down to diagnosing whether it's an exhaust leak or not, but
no smoke has come out of it, but still, like, I think it's the manifold and the throttle body.
I'm definitely
on
surprised.
The stock engine.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds absolutely amazing.
It went
Like,
pretty crazy with
even
it.
though there's a rev limiter on it, I think that's a better aspect of
Thank
it.
God
It
they
makes
have
it
one.
sounds mean. It kind of sounds mean, in my opinion.
Don't
like,
bounce it off too hard though.
yeah, I know. The rev limiter is at 4,000. It goes.
4,000.
Is that
4,000.
Yeah, rev limiter at
No!
No. When I'm at a full stop, it won't let me go past 4,000.
Oh.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Wow.
To me. Yeah.
I've never seen that.
I'm learning new things. That's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah. It
Maybe
won't let me
that's
go
a
past
safety.
4,000. So like I'll even hit the gas and go.
Oh,
And
okay.
it just
Then that's not even near your red line then. That makes
No, it's
You
less.
red line at like 68, right?
No, I red line. It's at 68. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I figured. Man, that's wow. I didn't know that they had some safety stuff like that in while you stop. That's nuts.
I
didn't
mean, I
know
guess
about that.
just to save the VTEC, you know.
Oh, I guess,
Save
yeah.
the VTEC.
Wow.
Save the VTECs. Save
To
the
save your
VTEC.
transmission.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I mean, driving the TSX and stuff like that. I mean, I guess that is a somewhat more, especially for the age of that car. It's a little bit more common in the Midwest, but it's still an interesting car.
Oh yeah.
Still goes back to the roots of the sporty design of a lot of the Hondas.
I mean,
honestly.
from when you're standing outside, you think it's just like a normal sedan, like a Ford Escape, maybe, or like a Ford
That's an
SUV.
SUV.
No,
Ford
Escape.
Escape.
Nah. Oh, Ford Focus. My bad.
Yeah.
Ford Focus. My bad.
Ford Focus RS.
No, the Ford Focus, but
Or
like.
Escape RS.
But like when you get behind the wheel, like and you start driving a little bit, like you actually feel the car telling you to like you can push me harder, and like you can actually you can feel how much pressure I can handle. You know, it's just an outstanding car. Like how Acura and Honda kind of did with
They
it.
do
It's
a really
amazing.
They do a really good
It's
job
just
of stuff like that.
absolutely amazing. I love it.
You can push me harder.
But I think my plans for the car, I'm not going to go big like how Michael's doing. He's putting his turbo and he's got the big wing and the wide body. I think I'm just probably going to get a new exhaust, maybe some new wheels, maybe from AVD ones or some BBS rims maybe. But that's probably about it. It already got tinted windows.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's honestly about it, to be honest. I don't want to go huge because I'm planning to...
What's your daily driver?
Yeah. I'm honestly planning to buy an S-chassis Nissan, which I'm pretty excited. I'm probably going to
Awesome.
swap RB26 or 25 into that.
Better
maybe.
snap one of those up. They're all getting crashed.
Yeah, I know.
That's
But I
crazy,
mean, in
yeah.
Indiana, there ain't much S-chassis here besides
you have to get
in the
shit,
automatic versions.
Yeah.
But who wants that, right?
Well, you're swapping it anyway, so.
Yeah. dude.
Well, only the engine though. Only
Oh,
the engine.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean,
But even
Definitely
speaking of
taste.
Nissan, I guess Nissan came out with the.
something of your interest, yeah.
Yeah, I heard they are coming out with the new Z,
Yeah, kind
the
of an interesting
400
car.
ZX, which
Yeah.
I'm actually excited about.
It's definitely one of those cars to compete with some of the
Oh yeah,
main JDM cars right now, honestly.
oh yeah.
When it comes to
I'm kind of glad that they're doing it. They're going back to the roots,
Oh, yeah.
like from where they started. You know, back in the 90s, that's where they're like the Godzillas of the car company. You know.
Yeah, even
Go.
better in the 80s, just my opinion, though.
But yeah, I'm kind of excited because I heard it's going to be a 6-speed manual with the V6 twin turbo. So I think that's the second time that they're doing twin turbo in a V6. I know they've done inline 6 twin turbos, but that was back in the 90s and early 2000s with the RB25s and 26s. But I'm actually excited, because the GTR comes with the VR38 twin turbo, and that produces 438, I believe.
Now the GTR is a bit more affordable than some other higher end cars, but it's pretty crazy when you compare the GTR to the 400Z, and I would assume that the 400Z they're probably going to dial back the price probably around the 30K range.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be around Type R range.
Oh yeah, well Type R is 40, but with to be able to compete a little bit more with the 40 with dealership markups and stuff, and how hard it is to get. But I feel like it's gonna definitely compete a lot more with the affordable sports cars now, the Rear X STI, all those.
I guess to route back, is there anything that you distinctly noticed, I guess, with your TSX and how it's optioned, I guess, to be more of a nice daily driver, things that you sort of have noticed over time that are just more ergonomic or
the fuel mileage is absolutely amazing. I could go probably about 2 weeks and just a few weeks on one tank, and it's just absolutely amazing. And even just for driving, basically, it's just a smooth ride.
Definitely. Well, it's that Acura side of things. Because you, what was the car that you actually came from previously driving?
I came from a Forester, an 09 Forester 5-speed.
And even before that, you were also driving Honda.
Yeah, my first car, I guess my actual first car was a 98 Acura Accord 5-speed with the Stage 1 clutch. And that car was actually, it had 250,000 miles on it. And that car ran for quite some time. I had that car for about a year, maybe, before it had a huge oil leak on it, and it just could not be fixed. But it ran for quite some time, and it was a good daily driver. But
And comparing that, because, that, of course, was under the Honda line at the time, but the Accord was also more of the luxurious compared to the Civic, a little bit higher end. But comparing that experience to what you get now with your TSX, do you feel it's more comfortable and smooth?
Oh my God,
there's
a huge difference compared to the Honda, which is kind of their base model for a standpoint, to the Acura. Oh my God, it feels way more better. It feels more sporty. It feels more responsive. It just feels more grip. It feels more like the gravitational pull toward the ground. It feels way better. I can control it way better.
Definitely good to feel planted. And
it
does help with the front wheel drive.
Definitely. I love it.
It's
car's
pretty nice.
Amazing.
And you have, honestly, the speaker upgrade. Technology changes over time, too. I mean, we're talking from 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
I had to do a full speaker upgrade in my RSX.
And your RSX was just a 2003 compared to a 2009, but it's one of those things of just over time. There are some pretty significant technological upgrades that are they're worth it in the end. So that's the crazy thing about it. But with your,
especially with interior, oh my gosh, 2003 compared to 2009.
What's the experience you have with your interior of the car?
It just feels, everything feels kind of like a Supra almost. Everything is right there. I know it's not like a Supra where it's angled towards me, but it just feels because I have control over the radio and the sound system, and I can also mess around with the dash. I can see how much fuel mileage I'm getting, how much oil I have, how much fuel pressure I have.
It's just nice and convenient.
More engaging.
Yeah, and it also I can even flip through what notifications I have, because on my car I have the ABS system light on, so I can go through that, and I think my brake system light's on.
Oh yeah, it's probably one of your wheel speed sensors.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, it's just I feel more engaged on it. It just I feel more notified on it, and it's just amazing.
Having that extra functionality is definitely a plus.
For sure.
I mean,
Being able to diagnose on the road is a game changer.
That's insane.
Oh, yeah.
Just having that extra level, like, yeah, it is a bit newer of a car, and so there are some aspects of it that some people would say you feel a little disconnected. Is your power steering still hydraulic or?
Oh yeah, it's hydraulic. Oh my
definitely.
god, the turn radius is amazing.
Oh, I bet. And you
I
probably
mean,
feel with
from when I gotten rides from Michael's, it kind of feels a little, just barely a little more better than the IS.
Well, shoot, I gotta get an angle kit now.
Don't you have a hydraulic in your
upgrades.
IS as well, though?
Yeah, most of the cars from the 03 to 09.
I mean,
hydraulic.
I feel like it'd be a close competition with the
for
turn
sure.
radius.
It's probably within inches.
Yeah, but it feels really good. It turns great.
Especially for a sedan.
Oh yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, the practicality side of it is pretty amazing, too. Having those back seats
Yeah.
definitely helps out. Have friends over if you need to drive around. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Even just hauling stuff, you can drop them down and throw stuff in the back.
But yeah, I think what I really enjoy about this car is that the manual aspect.
Oh, for sure.
It's just shifting through gears smoothly. The shifting is phenomenal.
Oh, I bet.
I love it. It's
That's
just
the Honda
smooth.
gearbox.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
very good
love
about
it.
keeping those
I
in
love
cars.
it.
Oh, it's crazy.
But yeah, it's just shifting through gears. But that also reminds me of the new Aston Martin. I guess the new Aston Martin Victor. It's a V12 6-speed manual, which is actually surprising. They're coming back with a manual supercar.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah,
It is
it's
a
pretty
one-off as
wild.
of right now, but
Yeah.
it is a really wild build.
Yeah,
I think it's another one of those more luxurious cars. I mean, of course, it's like the ultra elite car, but
But yeah, it's still like I think it's a modern day manual, like kind of like the 400ZX. Like they're still bringing back the manuals because people still want
The
manuals.
manuals are few and far between. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
it's harder to get
Like-
one nowadays. Well, even that Aston Martin isn't actually a manual as far as I know. No, it is. Sorry about that.
yeah,
Get a little confused in my mind here. Sorry, thinking about other supercars, but
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty wild that they decided to actually pull that off. Very
Yeah.
unusual of a car that caliber. It's pretty wild, and so I mean that is another one of those luxurious cars. But the cool thing about it was, I mean, that's what interested me about your TSX is, yeah, it's not got like. It's not going to be making 600 horsepower, but it still makes
Yeah.
a pretty reasonable 200 horsepower, which
Oh
the
yeah.
front wheels is
And it's a reliable 200 horsepower.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Like-
have it in the garage every day.
the practicality side of it too. You can do so much with it. It's pretty awesome. It's great. It's a great car for the value too.
Oh, yeah. I'm honestly excited to hear some news about Aston Martin bringing back a manual and also being a V12, which the car looks amazing. You should look that up, Aston Martin Victor, and
It's
take
a
a look
pretty beautiful car.
at the pictures. It has beautiful angles, and it comes with side exhaust, and the taillights, they just look absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh.
Very futuristic design. It's,
Oh,
It's
yes.
pretty wild. Definitely out there compared to a lot of other vehicles that exist right now. And so
Hopefully, Forza, the new Forza, whenever it comes out, they bring that car in.
definitely.
But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't followed Forza too much myself, but I know that they do a pretty good job of keeping up to date with some of the most
I
amazing
haven't
cars
heard.
out there.
I haven't heard anything about the new Forza coming out. It was supposed to be, like, they should have announced it late this summer, but they haven't done anything recently. So
Probably delayed due to
Yeah.
COVID like
Yeah.
everything else is.
Which is
Yeah.
odd because it's a game.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's kind of odd,
Oh,
but
well.
who knows? Maybe the
But
developers
yeah.
can't.
I
do it
guess,
remotely.
is there anything else you wanted to sort of end off with? Just ending thoughts with your
The
current
TSX.
setup with your TSX and whatnot?
I kind of wish it was kind of more lower to the ground, so I feel like more in control.
Oh, the coilovers.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They
I don't
definitely
know.
help. I've got a set on my
Yeah.
RSX and they definitely help.
It's just one of
Oh
those.
yeah.
small mods that if you do want to get a little bit more improved handling, it's never a bad deal.
And definitely do it right the first time.
Get them from a good company.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it can be costly if you do it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, even speaking of manuals, like I guess since we're talking about manuals, I guess like a car I would really enjoy to drive would be like an S chassis, like an S13 or an S14.
Oh, yeah. Moving to one of those.
Like thinking about some future builds and stuff.
Oh yeah, I think my future build would be an S13 or an S14 with the RB25 or 26 swap turbo.
That'd be pretty crazy.
Oh my god.
Is it streetable?
Yeah. I think what I would do to it would be straight piped blast pipes.
Oh my gosh, it'd be so loud.
Yeah, dude.
It'd be nice.
I want the crowd to hear me.
That definitely fits into the Ultra Clique styling too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Loud and loud.
Yeah, I'd get probably about a 40 millimeter, maybe 50 millimeter turbo from Garrett, maybe, who knows.
Pretty wild.
But yeah, yeah, but I think I'd definitely put a wide body kit on it, maybe a 326 wing on it.
Hey, 326 power, yes.
Yes, sir.
Wild.
I don't know, I just like the aspects.
They fit with every car, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Like every rear-wheel drift chassis, they just go so well with it.
But yeah, but I think
that'd be a great.
That'd be my project build that I would do, or hopefully potentially somehow find an R33. That'd be my dream car. Find an R33 right-hand drive.
Definitely a challenge right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Given the U.S.
Oh yeah.
But it's one of those things too, where like any of those Nissans are pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The difficulty with the S13s and stuff, finding those here in the States is, especially here in the Midwest, is the rust.
Oh yeah.
If you're lucky, you find a barn find. Those shock towers are still in shape.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out.
Good luck though.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
If you're committed enough, driven enough to find it in great condition, I think you can go pretty far with that base. I know Michael, he's also been pretty focused on Nissans in the past too. He's he's had his eye on a couple of Nissans in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a good.
I think
base.
you should make the switch.
I like reliability.
What do you mean? Nissans are reliable. It's just people put way too much horsepower.
2 days bulletproof.
I mean, so is an RV, but not as much.
I just the only reason I got the IS was because it was just more of a luxury car rather than the S chassis, which was more of a sports car and not as focused on the luxury side. It was sort of a completely different car.
It's so weird because
I feel like since we're in the Midwest, like you're hanging out with friends and all that, like you just don't want like a coupe, you know.
Yeah, it's harder
you
to
kind of want like a car that you
nice
can have fun in and that you can bring your friends along with.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what you were thinking of. You know.
Yep.
that coupe
But
body
also
style
you could modify it in a way that you would love it.
Yeah. Well, and like we talked about, I guess a little plug for the previous episode. Definitely recommend checking out the first episode where I interviewed Mike talking about his IS300 build and the reasons behind it. But like he was just mentioning, was the reasoning as to why he went for the IS300 compared to like a Nissan was just the luxury side of things. You seem to a lot of the Nissans are more luxurious sports coupes and stuff like that. But you tend to miss out on some of the small luxury features that really make the IS stand out.
Well, and from the factory, Nissan didn't really try to market their products except for like the Z32 or something like that, like the the Z32. They marketed that one a little more luxurious, but the other ones they sort of marketed as more of just a sports car instead of a sports luxury car.
Yeah,
it's not really one of those crossover things. They wanted to make something that was purely for sports car drivers instead of people who wanted nicer stuff. They wanted to make more weight cuts so that they could make the car faster.
But then you miss out on
they had like
the
base packages, and then they had like the sporty, like the Z31. Like you look at them, the Z31 was basically the same 300ZX, and then you look at the Z32, but that was like the more sporty because it had the twin turbo.
Yeah. If you got that option.
Yeah.
That rare option.
Yeah.
And coming back to it, I mean, Mike's IS is quite similar to Hunter's TSX, even though one's rear-wheel drive, one's front-wheel drive, and they have about the same horsepower, but they still kind of go for that same goal of achieving the sporty sedan that you can drive every day, be somewhat practical.
And still have fun in it.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing you already have over Mike is the fact that you can actually flip your back seats down.
Yes.
Mike can't do that. I can't do that in my
They didn't have that option until the 3rd gen.
I can flip down my center armrest for skis.
They thought
Who goes skiing in Indiana?
Oh my god.
It's like a luxury car.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, it's crazy.
They drive their IS up the mountain in the snow.
The main focus is skis. And so, at the end of the day, if you have your skis, go for the IS. If you aren't too concerned about skis and you want to get better fuel economy, go for the TSX.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Honestly, get that front-wheel drive, better handling. You can drive it in the winter, too. Get a little bit better handling.
Oh, yeah.
It's just one of those things where you gotta choose what you want to go for, and it's really great to have Mike to talk about his IS and Hunter to talk about his TSX because they are very different experiences.
But they're almost, in some way, almost like the same car almost. Because like we did race them.
They're very similar.
We did race them one time.
Mine's a little heavier.
Yeah,
we did race them, and they're almost like the same. Like we almost tied almost every time.
It's pretty crazy, and to think about the price range too, especially nowadays. Now, like the IS does kind of get pushed up in price range just because it's rear-wheel drive. People like to
and it has that 2JZs that you can build.
Yeah.
But other than
that didn't really mess with the price point back in that day, though.
No, but nowadays, as time has gone on, and also the fact that, well, like Hunter, for example, his car you can get for a slightly different price range than the unreasonably priced ISs and stuff like that. There is a bit of a difference on the price range, but they're both decently obtainable for the sport car enthusiast that's looking for a good starting point and base.
And isn't too concerned about, I guess, cosmetics as much because they are pretty old cars by this point, especially mine, but even Hunter's, they're older cars.
Yeah, they're not much cosmetics. I mean, there's probably a front and back bumper, maybe some side skirts, but that's about it, and an exhaust, but that's about it that you can really do.
Well, it's not that bad of a deal when you consider the price range of the TSX compared to the IS, and also the fact that the TSX is newer. It's pretty wild, and so you don't have to worry as much about rust here in the Midwest, and you get a pretty great car you can do a decent amount of things with.
And getting a car that's 7 years older for the same price
It's
pretty good.
Definitely, it's definitely a decision to make, and it's definitely something a lot of people would be considering. But they both offer very many great things. But it was good to be able to have Mike and Hunter on here both to talk about their experience with owning their sports sedans, especially Hunter joining into the podcast, a fellow car enthusiast here in Lafayette.
Yes, sir.
Talking from his experience and also his knowledge of exotics, it's pretty amazing to get that. Because Mike and I aren't too extremely knowledgeable on the exotics, we focus a lot more on the classics and stuff like that. But Hunter also focuses on the classics as well as going a step further and focusing on the exotics, which helps bring an extra edge to the podcast that we didn't exactly have before.
I think it was last year around in August we went to that Gold Rush Rally and we got to see we did see some classics, but we also saw the new hypercars. That are like the Ford GT. We saw that, and we saw the new McLaren 600 LT, which was absolutely phenomenal. Which I never would have thought I would have seen.
It's pretty crazy to see that
near a Midwest area, which was absolutely insane.
It's just something you don't.
And it's just like seeing it in eye and seeing all like the aerodynamics and stuff. It's just absolutely insane. But
it's pretty interesting to be able to see that kind of stuff in the Midwest. It's definitely inspirational and it helps you with your maybe a little bit more budget of a build, but you can still do a lot with a car here in the Midwest, especially just getting something a little more affordable.
Just like Mike's IS, you could buying a turbo, you could buy a big turbo and it could compete with a McLaren almost.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah,
Well,
we have like
if you scoop the interior.
yeah. I mean, yeah, if you just do all the modifications to it, you could definitely compete with a couple McLarens in town, maybe a Lambo.
Yeah.
Maybe with that Lamborghini
Yeah.
Performante that
A couple
lives
of
in
those,
town.
yeah, a couple more of those have been seen around, so it's pretty wild to see
Yeah.
that and experience that. But it's definitely really interesting to be able to get the experience of the sports sedans
Some
and
dealable cars, yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
definitely helps for anyone out there who's interested in the TSX or the IS trying to make a decision between the two.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, it was great to have Mike on the podcast once again today, and also to bring Hunter on to join us and give us his experience of his TSX, 6-speed manual transmission, of course. And,
Oh yeah.
just his experience also in car culture and his interests, and it's great to have you on and talk about that.
Yeah.
We should still be continuing to have episodes of the Ultra Clique Podcast focused on weekly uploads, and look forward to seeing you guys next week.